You know what's crazy is, here we are, another Monday in the middle of Corona and in the middle of protests about police brutality. And yet, it's another Monday of another police brutality incident, like another story that has people going, how long? How much? When is it enough? The story is out of Atlanta. Rayshard Brooks. And forgive me if I get any of the details wrong, but as far as I know, you've probably seen the video, you've read the story. Rayshard was in his car in a Wendy's drive-thru. He was drunk or tipsy, or he had alcohol, and he fell asleep. People are driving around his car. And so somebody at the Wendy's called the cops. The cops arrive at Wendy's and, they get Rayshard out of the car. And they start talking to him for about 30 minutes, asking him, is he drunk? Why is he driving? What's going on? I mean, it seems pretty standard. And the whole time throughout this video, you have human beings being human beings. You have Rayshard, who's clearly inebriated, and he's talking to the cops. And you have the cops asking him the questions. And what was interesting for me about this video is, in the beginning, it seems like everything is going to be fine. The cops are talking to him like a person. They're not being aggro. They're not being disrespectful. They're not being mean or anything. He's being respectful. He's calling them sir. He's not cussing them out. He's offering to walk. Everything is going well. Everything is going well. And then, in one moment, in just a few seconds, every part of that normal story turns into the abnormal ending that we've come to know as interactions with police and black people. Because the police try and arrest him, he resists and he wrestles with the police. In the scuffle, they try and tase him. While he's being tased, he grabs the taser, he gets up, he runs away. And I'm missing a few beats of the story because I don't want to take you through too much of it, but that's essentially what happens. Rayshard runs away, and the police chase him. As he's running, he shoots off the taser, and one of the cops switches his weapons from a taser to a gun and shoots Rayshard 2 or 3 times in the back, and he's dead. And immediately everyone goes, everyone goes to their battle stations. That's what plagues me about these stories. Everyone just goes to their battle stations. Immediately people go, well, once again, another example of black people resisting the cops and being criminals, and why are you driving drunk, and why are you running away from the police, and what? And then, of course, you have other people, in their battle stations saying, oh, of course, another story of cops who immediately shoot a black man for just sleeping in his car. But it's messy. No one wants to admit that the thing is messy. It's messy. If this story didn't happen now, maybe we would be looking at it differently. But it's a messy story. It's not the perfect story. And in a weird way, it not being the perfect story means we should look at it in the most perfect way possible. We should try and break it down and understand how something like this comes to be, because we don't always have video like this. We don't always have stories like this. And we don't even always look at it like this. But let's just take a moment to talk about what happened. You have a man who is sleeping in his car. Right? A man who's sleeping in his car, and he's drunk. Was he drunk driving? Let's say he is. Right? So he's broken some law, a law not worth dying for. I think we can all agree on that. The police approach him. And even then, I asked the question, why are armed police dealing with a man who's sleeping in his car? He posed no threat to anybody. No one at Wendy's felt afraid. Cars are driving around him. He's not stopping people from ordering food. So why are armed police there in the first place? That's the question I feel like. These are all the questions we need to ask. Why? Why? Why are armed police the first people who have to go and respond to somebody who's sleeping in their car who is drunk? Secondly, why do the police not give... the man says to them, I will walk home. If you're protecting and serving people, what is the true purpose of you not wanting people to drive drunk? It's that you don't want them killing themselves and other people. In this instance, no one had died because of his driving, and he hadn't killed himself because of his driving. And so as a police officer, maybe it's because I live in a utopian world where the police are truly just trying to protect and serve, not trying to write enough tickets, not trying to get enough people arrested, not trying to fill quotas. No, they're trying to protect and serve. In that instance, you would hope a policeman would say, "Sir, you do not look fit to drive. You said your sister lives around the corner. You said you live, we'll take you home. We didn't find you driving drunk. We found you asleep in a car. So we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. The country's burning down because of the way black people are dealt with by the police. So let us show you just in a moment that it doesn't always have to end the way you think it has to end." I'm not saying they had to do that, but it would have been nice. They arrest him. He fights. Now, you know what's messy about this whole thing is we forget you are dealing with a drunk person. You're dealing with somebody. The very fact that you're not allowed to sign a contract when you're drunk, the very fact that you're not allowed to do anything when you're drunk, tells us something about drunk people. We know what a drunk person is in society. They're not going to do the logical thing. So as a policeman, if a drunk person does an illogical thing, I feel like you should acknowledge the fact that they're drunk. It doesn't mean they deserve to die. They're drunk. We know what drunk people do. I've been drunk. You've been drunk. Everyone has been drunk. You don't deserve to die for being drunk. And if police cannot respond or cannot handle a drunk person, well, then they shouldn't be responding. If you responding to a person who's drunk means that person can be dead, the whole point of you going there was to make sure that people don't die because of whatever's happened. But if the people are going to end up dead anyway, then what's the point? And people say he shouldn't have resisted. Yeah, he's drunk. I'm not excusing his act, but he's drunk. In a situation like that, the sober person, in my opinion, the sober person, the onus is upon them to make sure the situation doesn't get out of hand. You're sober. He's drunk. How are two sober men wrestling with a drunk person on the ground? How does it get that far? How does it end with him losing his life? And people always say the same thing. They go, well, you know, if you didn't do that, then you would still be alive. They say this shit all the time, if you didn't do that. But the truth is, the ifs keep on changing. Oh, if you didn't resist arrest. If you didn't resist arrest, you would still be alive. Or if you didn't run away from the cops, you would still be alive. Well, if you didn't have a toy gun and were 12 years old in the middle of a park, then you would have still been alive. Well, you know what? If you weren't wearing a hoodie, you would have still been alive. Well, you know, if you didn't talk back to the cops, you would have still been alive. If you weren't sleeping in your bed as a black woman, you would have still been alive. There's one common thread beyond all the ifs. If you weren't black, maybe you'd still be alive. Well, that's our show for tonight. But before we go, The Daily Show and Comedy Central have been donating to 3 groups who are fighting against police brutality and systemic racism: the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the Equal Justice Initiative, and the Bail Project. Now, if you'd like to help and you have anything to give, then all you need to do is go to the following links and donate whatever you can. Until tomorrow, though, stay safe out there. Remember to wear your mask.